Hey y'all, welcome to another game of Pickett's Charge. This is my second game of a game I should have played a whole lot more, but it's okay. We're trying to fix that situation. As many of you know, I was trying to reach a quantity of Warlord Epic Civil War troops enough to play the Battle of Perryville in Perryville on the date of the battle, which I think is like early October, and that's not going to happen. I've got my Union troops maybe 40% done, and nothing's actually completed yet. I'm just kind of mass producing them. I haven't even purchased any Confederate troops yet, and I still need to get Union cavalry and some skirmishers and some Zouaves. So way not going to make it. But I'm craving to play Civil War, and I was craving to play Pickett's Charge again. So I do have some 28 millimeter. These guys are all mostly, 90% Perry plastics, maybe 95%, and then the other remaining guys are Perry metals. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the Perry guys, sculpts and miniatures, so yeah, no big surprise there. This is March 23rd. This is the Battle of Kernstown. This is part of Stonewall Jackson's Valley campaign. In the Valley, I mean the Shenandoah Valley. I don't know a ton about this, but I love listening to a guy's channel on YouTube called Warhawk. If any of you get a chance to listen to him, excuse me, please do. I'm hoping his stuff's accurate, because I basically, I hate saying basically based, but that's what I did. I based this entire battle, the units and everything on his wonderful channel's description of this battle. So I was kind of surprised to learn that I actually had enough 28 millimeter guys to do this. I was just listening to his little show, and I was like, oh man, this is great. This is giving me a chance to, do a couple things I wanted to do. So we'll go over the troops. We'll go over the features of the battlefield, a little bit of background. I can start there, and I'll try not to screw it up completely. Yeah, please do go check out Warhawk's channel on his Valley campaign video if you want to actually hear me not screwing stuff up. So in this battle, the Union control the Shenandoah Valley was huge. It was kind of the breadbasket of the Confederacy. It was a great way to outflank Washington, D.C., or for the Union to drive deep into the Confederacy. So both sides fought over this region. I think that the northern point of there's a town on the northern edge of the Shenandoah Valley that I think turned over, switched sides like 59 times or something. They had so many battles there, and they kept going back and forth and seesawing. So it's definitely these guys fought about it. Stonewall Jackson's orders were to draw off troops that were allotted to attack Richmond. So this was a big distraction for the Confederacy. It's 1862. I think McDowell is getting ready to launch his big peninsular campaign, and they're trying to cause a little bit of a fuss over here to make it a little bit harder for the Union to bring overwhelming forces to fight against Richmond. So hope I didn't screw that up too bad. So this whole engagement started because of one of the Confederates' cavalry commanders. I think it's a Colonel Ashby. You thought I was going to say Jeb Stuart, but it wasn't. This guy was he was very Jeb Stuart-like. He might have been the original Jeb Stuart. I think he ran around just basically having a good old time and raiding everything. And I think every time from what I heard, the Union saw a guy on a white horse, they assumed it was Ashby. I think they had a nickname for him. I can't remember what it was, but he was a rather dashing figure. And for the most part, he did a wonderful job of screening Jackson's smaller force, so the Union couldn't get a good calculation on the number of of Confederate troops that were in the valley. So this battle is not going to be one of Ashby's shining moments, but from what I understand, he did quite some great, wonderful things for the Confederates before he was ultimately killed later on in the Valley campaign. Ashby attacked north, and then with his, I think, like 700 cavalry guys, and then basically ran into a force of 9,000 Union, and then just with his cavalry and one, I think he had a horse artillery battery, and they just basically were doing shoot and scoot all the way down the valley. He originally occupied these heights here north of Kernstown, but then was driven off and fell back, and then joined up with Jackson, who was further south in the valley. And that was a really big, that was summarizing it almost to the point of making it, idiotic. I apologize for that. But that's kind of what happened. So he tells, and Ashby reports back to Jackson, there's only, 800, 1,200 Union up here. Totally, his recon was horrible. I think the Union cavalry kind of returned the favor on Ashby and did a wonderful job of screening him from seeing the true size of the Union forces. So Jackson's like, well, heck, I gotta attack these guys, because from what I've heard, they keep sending more and more troops farther east. So I've got to, kind of at least make an attempt to get the Union's attention, so they bring more troops back from attacking on the Peninsular campaign against Richmond. So he decided to launch an attack, and he marched north with his 2 brigades, and then ended up running into a massive force that was twice the size of his, that was in a well-defended position. And this is kind of, I based it on the map that Warhawk has, and I've kind of tried to replicate it of what I have. And I've done a job, but I think for a miniature war game, it will definitely suffice. And we'll go over some terrain features and some units in a kind of roundabout way, and then we'll get into this game as quick as possible. I'm going to do the best I can trying to remember this stuff off the top of my head. This is going to be Kernstown here. There's a church here that I can't pronounce. I think it's got an Indian name. This, of course, is that Sarissa Precision church that Tony gave me, which is fantastic. These are some new buildings I bought on eBay, which kind of were pre-painted and snapped together pretty easy. I'll try to put the name of them in the description. They're pretty good. This was a 28mm World War II village collection. You get these 4 buildings. It was very well priced, and of course there's a Charlie Foxtrot building over there. This heights is Pritchard's Hill. It's a pretty good elevation, so I think I did decently there. This stream is Hog's Run. I didn't come up with these names. It's just going to count as a minor obstacle, and of course taking checks to get over it. You can go over the bridge. I'm not sure if there was a bridge there or not, or if it was so shallow you can just plot across it. I just a chance to use a bridge. I'm going to jump on it, but that of course will allow you to avoid paying the penalty to crossing the stream. But yeah, going over a bridge is just a fantastic idea. There was a ridge over here with some woods on it. This is where Stonewall Jackson said, hey, this is where I'm going to attack these guys, because my guys are tired. They've just marched north pretty far, and now full frontal attack against this is not a good idea, even if I outnumber them, which he doesn't. I think there are like 7,000 of them, and he has like 3,000 guys. So he decides he's going to flank to the left, get into these trees, get cover from the artillery, and then move up to that stone fence and then outflank Pritchard's Hill. When the Union arrives, they had like 3 commanders in like 3 days. First guy gets sick. Second guy gets wounded fighting Colonel Ashby. And then this guy, Colonel, takes over, who eventually, I think the day after this battle, became a brigadier general for defeating Stonewall Jackson. He occupies Pritchard Heights. He puts one of his Ohio batteries up on the hill. He throws his another one of his brigades out to the left, puts another Ohio battery out there on his left, and then he holds a brigade in reserve behind Pritchard's Hill, so he can, if he needs to, he can scoot out this direction, or if he has problems holding it, he can reinforce. So it gives him some mobility. He also threw his 700 cavalry out to the right as well. Stonewall Jackson, he sends the Stonewall Brigade off to on the flanking run. That's under Garnett, who we've seen before in the West Virginia campaign battles we fought using different rule sets. General Burks was given the enviable task of trying to be a distraction and do a head-on attack against Pritchard's Heights. And he also has on his right, he had Colonel Ashby's cavalry. But, yeah. So that's basically kind of the way it was. And Jackson's right here in the center. He's going to be an auspicious commander. The Confederates are going to have some veteran units, especially in Stonewall Brigade, and also the Irish Brigade with the first, I believe it's right here, the 1st Virginia. But and most of these troops are Virginian. But and everything else is going to be just regular. So nothing too complicated. I think it's going to be a good time. There's actually a name for that ridge over here, but I can't remember it. There was a little homestead farm just to the east of Pritchard's Heights near the river, or the run. I'll try to remember these things later on in the battle. And then the name of the church too, which I probably can't pronounce anyway, because my pronunciation of Native American names is about as good as my pronunciation of Dutch, French, and German names, which is terrible. All right, believe that's it. So we've got on table, we have 3 brigades of Union. You see the one back there. They have 2 artillery batteries, 1 cavalry, and the only spin I've really put on this, because I just don't want to, I mean, I'm not really looking to do a simulation. I've decided, 1, because I've painted Wheat's Tigers, and 2, they're kind of one of my favorite units, is to allow, after turn 4, we'll have like a timing mechanism, which gets more and more easy for them to come onto the table, rolling a 6 on turn 4. Turn 5 will be a 5 and a 6, blah, 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 all the way down till they show up. There will be 1 brigade from General Ewell's. It'll be a Louisiana force. After this battle, General Ewell does join General Jackson. And then basically it's all... This is where after this one, basically Jackson goes really just starts beating the heck out of everybody, and it's almost like Napoleonic, like beating the heck out of the Union all the way across the valley. Does some really cool stuff from what I have listened to on the Warhawk channel. So that's all I got. We'll go ahead and we'll start off the game here in a minute. If I missed anything, I'll try to catch it on as we're going along. And cool. Just sit back and let's enjoy an awesome battle using Pickett's charts. Thank you, David and Christopher Brown, for making this. And I think they're planning on making a second edition of this next year. That's why I'm kind of, in my mind, I've almost justified not getting my epics done, because I'll continue to build up this. I think I'm going to get these to about 16 regiments for each side, which isn't, you can do a lot of smaller engagements with that. And then I can use my epic from Warlord. I can really do some big old Civil War battles, especially when I get the other table built, and you can have some massive ones. Should be a lot of fun. And I don't think that'll be Gettysburg, because that's ridiculous. So that'll be done in parts. I don't plan on paying that many guys. I looked at the order of battle for Gettysburg, and I'm like, holy cow, that was a big force. That was a huge battle. All All right, guys, hang in there, and I'll quit meandering around here, and we'll get some fighting going on. I felt terrible there. I couldn't remember the Union commander there. I was stalling around it while I was trying to remember. It's actually Colonel Nathan Kimball, but he's a brigadier general tomorrow, so we made him a general in this one. Most of these guys were colonels. This was a smaller battle, but General Harrow, excuse me. We got General Erastus B. Tyler here on this brigade, and then over here on the left is General Jeremiah Sullivan. So, boom. There's your Union commanders. Look pretty good. Looks a little empty compared to some of my Napoleonic battles, but that's okay. Here we go. Stonewall immediately has command confusion, only getting one staff officer. Oh gosh, I forgot his name already. General Kimball gets two. He immediately recognized because there was some command confusion anyway in the real battle, and then he had a bird's eye view of General Garnett marching off to his left, and then Stonewall Jackson basically got upset with him. He ended up getting like court-martialed after this, or at least a court-martial was convened, but then it was nothing ever came of it. Garnett was known as one of Jackson's best commanders, but Jackson did not like him, according to what I've heard. But Kimball admired Stonewall Jackson, ended up being one of the pallbearers at his funeral. So maybe Stonewall Jackson wouldn't have liked that, but due to the command confusion and the slow start of his attack, the Union sees the Stonewall Brigade over there moving off to the left. So General Kimball's going to use his first 2 dice to redeploy, which costs 2 staff officers, this 3rd Brigade behind Pritchard's Hill, and start moving them off to the right. And maybe his cavalry will probably go with them. So General Tyler will get a redeploy order with his brigade. That'll cost 2 staff officers for the Union, and Jackson will give General Garnett his 1 staff officer for a reroll with the Stonewall Brigade, the foot cavalry as they're known, to see if they can get out here, beat feet out here, and get into position before the Union can redeploy to the right. Just because Jackson's attacking, we will do the Confederate rolls first to see how his 2 brigades do. General Burks, after hearing that Jackson wants him to attack the Pritchard Heights, or Pritchard Hill, says, "What?" And he sends back a message, even though Jackson's standing right there, to get clarification. He goes hesitant on this turn, and but Garnett, even though he's going to get court-martialed later, he's all about it. He's on target and he's active. Let's see how the Union does with their 3 brigades. No orders reached General Sullivan out here on the left, so he goes hesitant this turn. The other 2 Union brigades are both active. We will see a redeploy or some form of that, at least beginning, as these guys move out in the order of battle to occupy the right flank of the Union line. All right, so both sides have 1 faltering brigade, so they both have -1 to their initiative roll. All right, Jackson wins the initiative, and the Confederates will be going first. There's no charges, so I think we go right into movement with this game, this system for the time being, and Pickett's charge first edition, I believe it is. Hope it's not second. Sorry about that, David, if it is. My fault. All right, for the Confederacy, the 4th, the 2nd, the 5th, and the 27th Virginia move forward 9 inches in line. That's about it. Hey, which units are these? The 2nd and the 4th are both veteran. The other ones are regular. Everything on this battlefield, we're going to give rifled muskets. We'll play the extreme shooting range, but only veteran units can do it. It is an optional rule in the back of the book. I can't remember if I used it last time. I don't think I did because I didn't have any veteran or old lag units. So, but it could be a good, fun thing to throw in there. And they even have rules for like drunk commanders and stuff. It's kind of crazy. But we'll just stick with maybe just that rule this game, and we'll worry about that later on. These gentlemen will hold still. They are hesitant, and that'll end the Union movement for this turn. So I was pleased to discover that in this game, units, when they change formation, they don't have to be veteran. They're depending on how skilled they are, how much percentage of their move they lose. These are regular troops. They lose half their movement. They change formation from line, made of a column right or a right face, and then we're in line formation, got their colors up front, and are marching off to the right flank with their redeploy order. They still were able to move forward 6 inches. The cavalry moved 7.5 inches after they reformed their unit. And that's where we're at. The rest of the non-hesitant Union command held their position. General Harrow up here, General William Harrow, is holding on to his heights where he likes to be. And they're basically putting musket balls in, and they're getting ready to try to rock the house. They're kind of pleased to see the Virginians struggling to move forward. And knowing that they've got reinforcements going off to the right. This is probably the first glimpse Stonewall Jackson will get of this unit on the right, and be like, oh, what have I done? And staring over at his cavalry commander who provided the intelligence for this attack, and go, oh, I don't like you, buddy. All right. That is the end of movement phase. I'm sure the guns will be in range. I don't think infantry will be, even with the extreme rules. But we'll double check everything. And everything kind of fires together. It's not broken down into skirmishers, artillery, and volley fire. It's just like, just shoot them if you got them kind of stuff. All right, under hesitant, it says no long-range fire or artillery fire. So artillery cannot fire if hesitant, as far as I read that. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It didn't... no long-range fire for artillery or infantry. It basically had that or in between. So I'm going to go with the guns cannot fire from a hesitant brigade. That won't affect the Confederacy as much, but it will affect the Union. Shooting first will be this battery here, which is... Oh yeah, this is the Rockbridge. Sorry, I got my camera off. I'm reading it. Rockbridge battery, regular artillery battery, and they are firing rifled artillery guns. I'm not entirely sure what happens here, but I've got a little bit of a blank space in the video, but we're getting right back to it right now. This will be a long-range artillery shot with a -2 because they're firing at deployed artillery. The bounce through is like an officer behind them, so it's not going to affect the infantry. I don't think. Let me double check. Yeah, it's kind of sketchy hitting those 9th Ohio, so I'm going to say no. No bounce through. After the long march and all that fun stuff, and then deploying their guns, they're able to achieve a fatigue casualty on themselves. So they are 1 casualty on those gentlemen. That's not good. All right, that's the end of Confederates fire. Union basically the same thing. That artillery battery will probably will fire back at that same Confederate guns. After a quick look at the rules, I don't see any kind of order or preference for shooting for targets. So the Union guns, I think it's Battery L, Battery H, 1st Light Ohio Artillery. We're going to go ahead and fire into the infantry down at the bottom of the hill, right on the side of Hog Run, and get bounce through into the unit behind them. This is an effective range shot. Artillery not quite zeroed in yet. If you can believe it, a 4 is actually a half casualty. The bouncer is not effective. So we'll roll the 21st Virginia on a 1, 2, or 3 is not affected by the half casualty. On a 4, 5, or 6, they do take a casualty. So the 21st Virginia suffers a casualty. And with that, turn 1 is over. All right, we'll do a Reaper drone flight over the battlefield. And then we'll get on to turn 2, staff officer availability, excuse me. Probably not a lot of movement in this one to show you, but still, we can do a comparison, and just kind of doing the routine will help me later on. There's the Stonewall Brigade out here on the Confederate left, heading towards this ridge line and the trees, try to hide from Union artillery. There's Hog Run coming up on I gotta look up the name of this farm. I might do that in a second. Union cavalry moving to the right. Choking on my own spit. Union infantry moving up, redeploying to the right. And then we get into the main Union line on the hill. And we pan out to the left. We see the other rest of the Union line over here. There's a lot of markers for this game. I'm kind of hoping that there's a little less, few less markers maybe in the next version, but we'll see. It does bring a lot of flavor, but there's a lot of markers. I made my own with lamination, so and just kind of using Google Sheets to make them. So that's it. All right, you guys are awesome. That's turn 1 in the books. We'll get a couple pictures and we'll be right back for turn 2. All right, turn 2, we're rolling along. I'm starting to remember how to play this game. Cobwebs are coming out. We'll see, though. I'll probably screw up some more. All right, so both sides rolling 3 6-sided dice for staff officer availability. I just base coded some more Russians over there. Got to crank out 3 more battalions to get my Russians up to 8. That'll give me 2 full brigades for whatever kind of battle I'm going to fight next, which will most likely be a defense of France in our Scott and I's 1815 What If campaign, just to get some of those units on the table while I continue to grind dudes out to get ready for the 1813 campaign. General Kimball, firing on all cylinders, gets 3 staff officers, while General Jackson continues to be somewhat confused, only getting 1. General Kimball invests in General Harrow's artillery section. I think it's Battery L, 1st Light Ohio. Might be wrong. We'll double check that in a second. While General Jackson continues to throw out an extra staff officer to assist General Garnett, who he's hoping to court-martial by turn 7. Poor General Garnett, he didn't do anything wrong, baby. All right, so Confederates won last turn's initiatives. They're going to go first and see who's active for their 2 brigade commanders. All right, Jackson's boys are fired up. Both brigades are going to start moving out. This is turn 2, so turn 4 we'll start rolling to see if the Louisiana brigade will show up. All right, let's go over here, and the Union roll all 3 of their brigades and see how active they are. Once again, General Sullivan shuts it down, not sure what to do with his 4 brigades and his artillery. Maybe they're still out to lunch, just kind of checking out the scene, not feeling it yet. But General Harrow, his artillery assault on target, plus what's this guy's name? Sorry about that. General Tyler, Erastus Tyler, got to say that first name, continues to do his redeployment out to the right. Next up, it's initiative time. All right, baby, let's see how we do here. Union will be rolling -1. Confederates not. He'll be rolling straight up. Union will not be denied. Kimball, he's on fuego. No charges for either side. No one's in range yet, and no one's feeling suicidal. So we'll go into movement with the Union moving first. All right, first up, the 1st Michigan Cavalry. Going to try to jump this fence, then jump the river, then jump another fence. They're going to be moving like nowhere. They're going to get into, what did I say this place was like? Frog's Run or something like that? Bull's Run? I can't remember what the name of this little stream is. But they're going to, this is like a steeplechase course. They are going to get half movement on the fence, and they're just basically going to get stuck in the river here. But they take a formation check for both. So they struggle over the snake rail fence and then really struggle once they hit the creek. Or the run, excuse me. So they are unformed and kind of scattered in there. That's ugly. All right, sounds good. They still have another fence to jump. This is going to be just phenomenal. All right, and now the rest of the Union infantry over here are going to move forward in column. All right, Tyler's brigade, which includes the 10th Pennsylvania, the 7th Indiana, the 1st West Virginia, and the 7th Ohio. They advance 12 inches behind the Pritchard house and continue to move out to the, I don't know what direction this is. I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. Move out to the right flank to redeploy. All right, that's the end of Union movement. Now we shall go across over here to the Stonewall Brigade as they move forward. The Stonewall Brigade under Richard Garnett moving out. All right, they go forward 9 inches. They're not in the woods yet. They're on the left, doing the plan, I guess. And now these gentlemen will advance into the run as they cross over the water, which is I don't know if this would be a good idea. We're gonna see some formation checks. First up, the 21st Virginia going into the drink. All right, no issues for them. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think they'll reach the water. The 42nd West Virginia or 42nd Virginia advancing behind them will also probably hit they'll take a formation check as well. They also passed their check. Now we'll slide over to the 48th Virginia. Let's see how they do when they step off. They become unformed in the creek, and then the Irish go first. 1st Virginia. Let's see how they do. And then Ashby's boys are going to try to wheel to the right, head for those trees, and dismount, start engaging the Union from the cover of those that small glade there. And they stay formed up as they move half movement. Infantry does not have to pay a movement penalty. They move at full speed across like snake rail fences and low creeks and stuff like that. So good stuff. All right, that ends movement phase, which goes into shooting phase, and things aren't going to be good as artillery starts. Well, only one gun from the Union will be able to fire. I forgot this The other Union brigade is hesitant, so no shooting. At effective range, Battery L of the I forgot to look. First Light Ohio Light Artillery fires westbound through with 2 extra CDs into the Confederates coming up the behind the snake rail fence. Do they get cover from snake rail fences? I can't remember. Or if does the artillery do anything? I wonder if artillery is even slowed down by that. You'd think it would make it worse. Ball hits the fence line and just shatters all over the place, and it turns all the wood and the ball keeps going, and they get hit by everything. Still, cover is cover. They'll take a -1 on this shot. It'll be at effective range. There will be 2 extra CDs for firing at them, and then 1 extra CD of bounce through for the guys behind. Could have been a lot worse. The 21st Virginia takes 2 more casualties and goes up to 3 after they get hit by those cannonballs coming off those guns. Ouch. All right. Now the what's this? Oh, this battery's got a cool name. The Rock Bridge Artillery Battery, trying to help out their sister brigade, firing on the Union guns. They'll be -1 at long range, or -2, I think, at deployed artillery. The 4 guns of the Rock Bridge Artillery Battery able to do 1 casualty on H Battery of the 1st Light Ohio Artillery. And that will end turn 2. Just rolling along here. Get some overhead shots as I'm getting high on paint fumes here. Just sprayed the other side of my Russian infantry sprues. Oh boy, let me start moving around. On the Union left, with what's this guy's name? He's like Missed Captain Hesitant. General Sullivan hasn't done anything. Probably hasn't. Keeps getting envelopes. Not sure what to do with them. He's like, that's really nice. I'll read these later. But they're actually your orders. General Kimball's right next to General Harrow, so he's on fuego. Artillery's doing some damage to the attacking Confederates. Meanwhile, General Tyler successfully moving to the right to try to cut off the Stonewall Brigade. His cavalry has become unformed and confused, trying to cross the water there, a little creek, or we call it a crick down here. Isn't that crazy? The Stonewall Brigade advancing in fuego, almost to the woods. Their guns have finally found the range on the Union. And then the attack of General Burke, probably not too thrilled to be taking part of this, is kicking off as he advances into the run and heading toward Pritchard Hill. Oh, and then also his cavalry's out here to the right. The Black Knight of the Confederates, Turner Ashby, looking to get in those trees and start laying down some repeating fire with his breech loaders. All right, we will get some pictures and see you in turn 3. All right, time for turn 3, staff officer availability. Let's see what we got going on. Hopefully Stonewall Jackson can get going a little bit. He's not done well so far. For the Union, they're going to spend both of their staff officers on 1st Ohio Artillery Battery H's artillery assault. So that'll be under General Harrow's brigade. And then the Stonewall Jackson is going to give a double quick and a staff officer reroll to Garnett. Try to move them even farther into the farther up the flank. I believe the Confederates won initiative last turn, so they'll go first, and we'll roll that. We'll roll which brigades are active now. All right, both Garnett and Burks are active. So now we'll go over here and check the Union, see how their 3 brigades do. And that's just what the rebels needed, as both Harrow and Sullivan go hesitant. Wow, no artillery fire this time from a Union, and no long-range musketry. That's rough. These gentlemen will continue their flank run through the steeplechase course. For initiative, the Confederates will be even, while the Union is rolling -2. It doesn't matter because Kimball still wins initiative. Oh, terrible. All right, so no charges. Movement phase will be for the Union. They'll be continuing their flank run. General Tyler will move forward with infantry, and cavalry will move at half speed, maybe quarter speed, and try to cross this stone wall. I was reading the rules again on unformed units. They don't suffer movement penalties. They can move, they can charge. They're just considered unformed. If they do want to reform, it takes an entire turn of movement to do that. So there's no point for these guys reforming and then trying to jump a fence. So they're going to stay unformed, cross the fence, and remain unformed. Kind of different from GDA, but we'll go with it. That's the rules. That's the rules of the game. All right, and these guys will move their, I believe it's 9 inches. Let me double check. Oh, my fault. Columns are 12 inches. They'll go ahead and move forward that. So Tyler's troop file behind the Pritchard homestead, heading to probably stomping their fields into the ground. This is March, though, right? So nothing too much in the ground yet. His cavalry is across the stone fence and across was it? Oh, Hog's Run. I looked that up. Sorry about that. And the snake rail fence as they move towards the stone, engaging the Stonewall Brigade. Sweet. Oh, I love miniature wargaming, baby. That ends Union movement. We'll go forward to it, the Stonewall Brigade's movement bonuses. A lot of that, I think it might be half going through woods. I got to check this real quick. So woods are rough terrain, so these guys are going to move at half speed and take formation checks. If they were in column of march, they wouldn't have to take formation checks. All right, here we go. And Burke's boys move forward, taking advantage of the Union paralysis. But I did forget to do some formation checks. We'll start over here with Burke's, the 21st Virginia, crossing a snake rail fence to get into position right there. They pass. The 4th Virginia chose to move and stay unformed. That'll hurt them in the shooting phase. The 4th Virginia moving into the trees at high speed. They're the lead unit for Garnett. They become unformed. Now the 2nd Virginia, see how they do. They maintain their order. Now the 5th Virginia. They are good to go. And then the final, the 27th Virginia, they just enter the edge of the trees. And they also love it. All right, good job. Okay, so that's the Confederate move up into this point, and now I just got a really quick check. I want what's this guy's name? I always forget. Turner Ashby's the Black Knight of the Confederacy to move forward and dismount, but I'm not sure. I'm sure it counts as a formation check. Let me check it real quick. Ashby's cavalry dismount. They got their horse holder there, and they are peering out of the trees at the Union. They got the repeating carbines. Oh, I didn't check. I hope they're in range. That would be really embarrassing for me if I pick up those trees and they sit there. But oh well, they are covering the rest of his brigade's right flank a little bit. So we'll see how long they can hold out. But at least they're anchoring a little bit, and it makes the 1st Virginia, the Irish, a little more comfortable knowing that they've got somebody on their flank. All right, that ends movement phase. Shooting wise, I'm pretty sure the Union could fire, infantry could fire, but they can't fire to long range. Close range is up to 9 inches. The Union is out of range. Long range goes to 18, and if you are a veteran or an old lag unit, you can fire out to 24 if you're firing rifled muskets, which everyone on the battlefield's got. I'm pretty sure for this campaign, a good percentage of Jackson's troops had old school smoothbore muskets, but trying to keep track of that is going to be difficult. So I thought I'd just even the playing field. Everybody's got rifled muskets, so in that respect, I'm nowhere near historically accurate. But what's new for this channel? Just looking at the cover perspective from the Union position, the Union right next to the artillery, they'll definitely get some good cover, this regiment, because of the where they're located on the slope. The rest of them are kind of, they're a little bit hosed. Sorry, buddy, especially these guys. I think they're going to hit by 2 regiments, maybe 3. No, just 2. Sorry about that. Yep, and I did what I thought I would do. These guys are carrying breech-loading carbines. Range is 14 inches. They're just short of these gentlemen from the is it the 39th Illinois? So got lucky there, but at least they're in position in the trees. They've got a good defensive position, and unless the Illinois guys can just hit them without even getting close. But breech loaders do get extra CDs for just being with their higher rate of fire. For this one, I think I got it wrong last game, but I think a -4 penalty is too much. I think if David wanted this, or Dave Brown wanted this to be a double penalty, he would have moved -2, another column, another space, sorry, unformed -2. So moved or unformed. If you got both of them like this one unit does, it's just a -2. And let me know if I'm wrong, but that's the way I read it. So these guys are a -3 for moving, and -1 for cover, firing uphill at the Union. This is the 21st Virginia. Let me check on that unit. The 4th Ohio. I'm actually going to give them pretty significant cover. They're not like hiding behind a snake rail fence. So this will be a -4 for the Confederates, shooting at long range. They rolled an 8. That still goes down to a 4. I think if you have, in the future, I think if you have anything around -4 to shoot, I'm going to hold my fire, especially on a long range shot. You just end up hurting yourself in this game, because an 8 ended up being a fire discipline, so there's not a lot of room there to. I think a 9 would have got me no effect at all. So only a 3 chance in 12, or actually 11 to maybe it is 12. I don't know, but that's not good enough odds. So I think at -4s, I'm going to be holding my fire. I'm going to try to. We'll see. All right, so those guys pick up a fire discipline. Now we got the 4th Virginia. They're unformed, so it'll be a -2 at long range. Burke's regiment's not showering themselves with glory right now, as they also pick up a fire discipline. So they are unformed and they have fire discipline. Now we go to the Irish, who will actually have no modifiers. Let's see if they can actually get any contact firing at these gentlemen on the hill. The 67th Ohio suffers 1 casualty, and that'll end the shooting phase. It'll also end turn 3. We'll head to turn 4. We might as well roll now to see if the Louisiana Brigade is approaching the battlefield or not. They would come on in the movement phase. Looking for a 6 for this turn, and we'll go from there. There's Taylor's brigade sitting off table waiting to get the call. All right, baby. All right, we're right back for turn 4. See you in a minute. Sorry, I think I fell victim to some muscle memory there from playing General Day Armade 2. Once I had the volley fire, my brain's like, oh, We've already fired the artillery. Nope. And I also forgot the overhead view, which I need to do to keep everyone in touch. And I just, that'll end up this turn instead of the way I thought it was before. Sorry about that, guys. So we've got the Rock Bridge artillery. They're going to go ahead and continue to shoot at the Union artillery. -2 to this long-range blast. That results in a half casualty check. We'll go ahead and do that real fast. And the 1st Ohio Light Artillery Battery H takes its second casualty, and boom. So we'll do a quick overhead view. We'll start off with these gentlemen. Just excuse me while I get the Reaper drone in the air. See the Union line here up on Pritchard's Hill. Complete and utter command confusion. I think this guy must be drunk or something. Sullivan hasn't done a darn thing the entire game. There's a big pile of dice. We've got Colonel Ashby's skirmishers over in the trees. And then as we have General Burke's brigade. My cat's not happy about General Burke's brigade at all. Stonewall Jackson still just sitting at the edge of the bridge watching his boys go forward. And we go let this cat out of this room. And then we've got Stonewall's brigade and the Rock Bridge artillery. Come here, kitty. Let's go, buddy. Out you go. What are you doing? Okay. Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. My cat thinks he's in charge, or she's in charge. She probably is. I don't know. And you see the Stonewall brigade moving through the woods over here on their left. Union artillery's crossed the wall, still remains unformed. And then we've got Tyler's brigade streaming behind the Pritchard house, stomping on their fields. And then we return back to Pritchard's orchard. All right, now we can go to initiative turn 4. All right, sorry about the technical difficulties, guys. You're awesome. See you in a minute. All right, time for turn 4, staff officer availability. Here we go. General Kimball still staggering from last turns. Everybody's going to go hesitant to action, if that's even a thing. He gets 1 available staff officer. Stonewall Jackson, rocking 3. What a boss. All right, General Kimball, he blah, 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 blah. He's going to give 1 staff officer over here to this brigade because they have not been active at all. So we'll go ahead and roll for Union brigade availability. All 3 of General Kimball's brigades are active. Yes, baby. All right. What will Jackson do with his 3 staff officers? He's going to keep the Garnett train rolling. Give 2 for a double quick and 1 for a reroll for those gentlemen. Unfortunately, General Burks goes hesitant, so the Confederates will be rolling -1 to their initiative roll coming up right now. Oh, too bad there's not a CNC command function in this game yet. There probably will be when the next edition comes out. General Kimball rolls a double six. Union is victorious, maintains initiative, and we'll start off with, they're not going to do any charges. Let's do movement for the Union. Big things from the Union is starting on their left, the 39th Illinois rolled to the left, or wheeled, excuse me, and they took the 13th Indiana with them. General Sullivan finally getting to do something. He's excited that he actually could read for once. He decided to open one of those envelopes. It's been coming to him since 8 o'clock this morning. The 62nd Ohio and the 5th Ohio begin moving forward to this spot. They'll connect these flanks together. That'll be their objective. The 67th Ohio and the 24th Pennsylvania under Harrow step forward. They're going to engage with the Virginians at the base of the hill. Also, the 4th Ohio and the 8th Ohio have done the same as they move forward. The Battery H has pivoted to the right and began engaging Confederate artillery across the valley and smacked them around a little bit. Over here, the 1st West Virginia has turned left heading towards the Valley Turnpike through this farmstead here, which I'm struggling to remember the name this moment. They're going to look like they can try to take the flank when they reform, hopefully, of the Virginians down there. 7th Ohio, they've kind of changed formation to the half move. The 10th Pennsylvania went over the fence, stayed in line, and these gentlemen of the 7th Indiana, they formed into line, and these guys were in column. These guys formed the line, or occupying the stone wall. I think the plan is for the 19th Pennsylvania to do the same. The 1st Michigan Light Cavalry has reformed, and they're in place now, no longer unformed. So big things for the Union as they start moving into position and stop being passive. Next up, let's see what General Garnett gets for a forwards tasking. So the 22-inch move will get cut in half in the woods. They'll end up moving 11 inches. There will be some formation checks as these gentlemen move their 11 inches. On the far right, these gentlemen can't get closer to the enemy, so they stay right there. None of these gentlemen moved. The units that were unformed reformed, and some recovered fire discipline. These gentlemen actually wheeled backwards a little bit just to kind of prepare themselves for the Union coming down the road. These artillery held still, and these guys are wheeling out to expand their flanks. We'll get 3 of the regiments, will do formation checks. The 4th Virginia doesn't have to because they were unformed already. So we'll get a check from the 2nd Virginia, 5th Virginia, and the 27th. I'm going to mark them make a little template and roll them all at once. A little rough. It's the 2nd Virginia, the 5th Virginia, both become unformed. The 27th Virginia passes the trailing battalion, or trailing regiment. But yeah, so they're still in the woods, having some issues, Garnett's trying to get them to turn around, and Jackson's looking over, working on the court-martial paperwork. Okay, we're getting to Union firing. Got to break out some cotton balls here. We're going to get a lot more troops get to engage in this turn, which should be awesome. Alright, so don't screw this up. I'll probably start from the Union right. I don't think the cavalry can shoot when they're mounted, so they might get minced a little bit here, but the Confederates are in the trees and unformed, so that might help them a little bit. Those gentlemen are, I think in the real battle, the Confederates actually won the race to the stone wall. The Union looks like they're going to win the race to the stone wall this time, at least this part of it. No other fire in here, and then we get over to these guys. The 4th Ohio firing. I'll just check the range. I'm 99% sure this is going to be close range. It's correct. The Union is at 9 inches away from them. The 21st Virginia. The Union did move. There'll be a -2 to this as they unload at close range. Starting off a little rough here is the 4th Ohio picks up a fire discipline. 67th Ohio is going to shoot down the hill at, which is that, the 40th, I believe, or the 48th? I can't see that far. Virginia. It was the 48th. This is going to be effective range now, I believe, or, oh, it's actually long range, over 9 inches. Also be a -2 for moving. I'm rocking the fire disciplines. The fire discipline doesn't seem as bad as I thought it would be if you don't plan on moving. So, yeah, you don't hit, but as long as you don't move, you can get rid of your fire discipline, and then, boom, you're shooting again. And finally, the 28th Illinois, or 39th Illinois, excuse me. These tags a little bit smaller than my usual ones. They will be shooting at long range into the trees against these gentlemen. Be a -3, so I might as well go grab another fire discipline. I'm psychic. I did forget the Union guns again, so I got in a roll with the volley fire, so I'm going to get those here in a second here. All right, the 1st Ohio battery H, going to fire at long range against those gentlemen. They did move, so they might be taking a fatigue casualty here, but we'll give it a whirl. They are not going to fire. This will be a -4 for moving and -2 for shooting at deployed artillery. So they take their finger off the trigger. They're going to fire next turn. And then these guns down here, this is battery L. They're going to fire at these gentlemen. Just got to measure the range here. It's the 1st Virginia, the Irish. Oh, shoot at them. I just measured the range. Don't remember the number I got. This blast will be an effective fire with no bounce through. They do 2 casualties to the Virginians. Oh, boy. All right, so the Union at least does something. That's sad. Now we'll flick over to the Confederates. A lot of these guys won't be able to fire because they're on a hesitant brigade. All right, Colonel Ashby's cavalry can't shoot because they're outside of close range. The 1st Virginia can't shoot because they're out of close range. But the 48th Virginia and the 21st Virginia both can reach these gentlemen at close range. They're going to combine fire and blast away on them. Technically, these guys can't. That'll just be one unit because you have to fire straight ahead when you're hesitant as well. So, boom. No 45-degree angle for you, my friend. So, we'll just get fire from the 21st Virginia. They put 2 casualties onto the 4th Ohio. We'll go over here to these guns. They are actually not in a hesitant brigade. They'll fire at a -2 at long range back across the valley at the Union guns that are turned to face them. It's a chance for a half casualty. Let's roll that real quick, see if they can convert it. They put a 3rd casualty on H battery. And then we come up here. These gentlemen will fire into this cavalry in line. A long-range shot at -3. And this turn was brought to you by the good people at Fire Discipline. And that'll end the turn. We will roll after we do the flyby to see if the Louisiana boys are going to arrive on the battlefield on turn 5. They will need a 5 or a 6 to show up. As we see the Union down here moving around, try to go a little bit higher so we can see some more stuff. Also solidifying their right and also moving forward down the past the Pritchard Holmes farmstead to attack the Confederate left. Union moving forward off Pritchard's Hill, at least to the crest of it, to engage in close range musketry with the Virginians, thinking they've got them outnumbered. They don't know about the Louisiana boys yet. Those 2 Zouave units moving up. These gentlemen are denying the flank to Ashby's cavalry. Going to try to wipe them off the map if possible. And then you see the Confederate lines. as they start to try to deny their flank too to these boys coming down to the Pritchard farm. And you'll see the Stonewall Brigade working their way through the trees. We might be in trouble now. The Union might grab up that stone fence. That'll be a -2 to cover. I might have to pivot their artillery here. Actually, I could turn it into an absolute bloodbath, as they could fire straight down that yeah, they could fire straight down the road without cover. Well, that'll be horrible. So yeah, that's gonna happen. Just saw that and just like, yep, I'm gonna smoke them if you got them. All right, quick close low level view of the battlefield. See those gentlemen moving out of the Pritchard farmstead, and then attacking the heights up there. Whew. Okay. Love it. All right, can't wait to get more and more troops on this ACW stuff. And you get a little view of my tape measure. And there's Ashby's boys on the far right. All right, let's roll for the Louisiana boys, see if they show up in turn 5. Nope. Maybe they'll get lucky next time. 4, 5, and 6 in for turn 6. All right, we'll see you in a minute. Turn 5. Woo! There you go. Addison's here to help me out. Thank everybody. That's awesome. All right, we're going to roll for staff officer availability and yeah, go from there. Boom. The Union ends up with 2 ADCs. They're going to put a... Oh, what are they going to do? Oh, yeah, they're going to do an artillery assault over there, but no staff officer safety net. And the Confederates are going to do the same thing. Stonewall Jackson's going to put artillery assault with a staff officer reroll for Garnett over here on the Rock Bridge Artillery Battery. Try to smoke the Union off the map. Union won the initiative last turn, so they will roll to see which one of their 3 brigades are following orders.
So nice to the Union over here, and now these 2 brigades are now hesitant.
Somehow Addison hit the wrong button on the camera and turned off the volume. Here comes the Confederates rolling for their 2 brigades. Garnett is active while the other Confederate brigade is hesitant. So basically, I think you'll find out in a minute here, the Confederates will be -1 and the Union will be -2 for the initiative roll that's coming up now. All right, I'm just going to edit this in. I think we got a -2 on the initiative for the Union and a -1 for the Confederates, and Addie will be rolling that right now. Oh, we're going to have some fun. The 1st Michigan decides to charge the lead unit of the Stonewall Brigade. Let's see how it goes. They're just on the edge of the trees. They had the distance to reach them. I'll probably have to do a formation check because they are hitting the woods, but they're also going to get fired on by the Union the Confederate guys from the Stonewall Brigade as they charge in. So we'll do the formation check first. I originally thought this was going to be a suicide charge. Ended up being not a bad idea. I was having fun with Addison down here. All right, so the Confederates are going to be, they're unformed, so that'll be a -2. And they've got fire discipline. They haven't reformed. They will do that in a movement phase, but now they won't because they're getting charged. So they're going to be -2 on the deadbeat volley firing at the Union coming in. But first we'll do the Union. The unicorns, as Addison calls them. The Union, seeing if they can maintain their formation. And I forgot Addison already did that and rolled an 11. So I got distracted looking up all those shooting things. Chance for a half casualty. Let's see if Addison can convert this. So, as far as I know, the Rebels will be -2 with their roll, and then the Union Cavalry will be even. All right, let's see how that happens. The one thing I did forget is the Confederates will get 1 support roll, for a re-roll. The Union will have nothing. All right, so far the Union has a 7 and the Confederates have a 7. The Confederates will re-roll their 2 and hopefully not roll a 1. We'll see what happens. All right, I've not done a hand-to-hand. I've only played 1 game of this before this, so I am no expert. But from what I read it, the supports will also offer 6 dice too because they have 6 bases. So the Confederates will get 12 bases. I gotta see if unformed takes anything away. The Union will get 6 for their cavalry, but they're also mounted cavalry charging, so they're going to get an extra +2. They're going to be rolling 8 versus the Confederate 12, and I've got to see if unformed is a modifier. The Confederates will lose 1 dice from each of their units because both of their regiments are unformed. So they'll be rolling, oh gosh, 10 versus the Union 8. All right, we're going to roll this all. It's going to look like chain of command bolt action like dice here. Let's see what happens. So we're looking for 4, 5s, and 6s. I've got a bad feeling that everyone's going to get destroyed here. We'll see what happens.
Confederates whip a nay-nay on the Unions.
So I'm pretty sure both Confederate regiments take 2 casualties. The Union cavalry is whipped. They fell back 18 inches back here, and they've got 6 casualties. I think we've got to do formation checks on everything. But the Confederates are already unformed, so
They're poopy butt.
yeah. So these guys will have to roll 2 dice. We'll do that now.
Yes.
All right, so at least we got to charge some. I'm glad we got that out of the way, and that was fun for us, so we had a good time. All right, so now we go into, there's no more charges. We go into movement. Union will go first. All right, so after that, these gentlemen were already here. They stayed there. These guys came out of, they moved half their move. They came out of march column, went back into line. They've occupied the wall now. So now the Union has a firm grasp on this wall against the Stonewall Brigade. These gentlemen moved up to the second line behind the snake rail fence to offer kind of a point of retreat for these 2 regiments. And then their other regiment, under the command of 1st West Virginia, moved forward half their move and went into line. And now they are moving in on the flank of the Confederates over here on the right. The rest of the Confederates can't move. The rest of the Union, excuse me. The Confederates over here won't be able to move either. And basically we're going to end up with, see what the Stonewall Brigade does here in a second. These 2 units can't move because they took care in the charge phase. So I guess we'll move these 2. They're unformed. There's a good chance that these are going to become unformed too. It's all right. We'll move forward. All right. Thank you very much. Right, the 2 Confederate battalions have moved forward. We'll have to do a formation check for this unit, not for that one. They're going to remain unformed because they moved. And this artillery slightly pivoted to the left, and they're going to basically fire right down the fence line at the Union, which should be horrific. I adjusted that move just a little bit. Moved them a little less because walking into close range unformed is not a good idea. And also, they didn't want to block any artillery firing. All right, so we'll just do a formation check for which unit is this? The 27th Virginia, roll 2d6, try to get a 7. So that entire brigade is basically unformed right now. General Garnett, that's not, they're slugging through woods. It's kind of hard to keep it together. Plus, when you're running through the woods and then a bunch of horses charge through and attack you. So, oh, well. Okay, that's the end of movement phase. We'll go into firing. Union firing first. Both Union artillery pieces will not be able to fire because of, because they're hesitant brigades. So the 110th Pennsylvania is just in range of these gentlemen here. So they will fire at them. It'll be a -3 because they moved and the Virginians are in the trees. A 0 effect. So these guys are out of range. These gentlemen are just out of range. These guys right here, the 4th Ohio, they have fire discipline. Oh, they recovered their fire discipline in the movement phase. Forgot about that. They recovered their fire discipline. And look around for if they've got any more fire disciplines down here. Just grab them up, Addison. If you see any more tokens on those guys, you can't. Not from the guys that were charged over there. They're hosed. What? These guys are at close range, so they can fire downhill at those gentlemen down there. 21st Virginia takes 3 casualties. They're going to take an elephant test. They've got 5 now, so they are going to be a -1 to this check. The read later to see if that's rolling a double 6 gets a casualty back like it does in General d'Armée or not. But Addison rocked out a double 6 for those gentlemen, so they passed the see the elephant check. There's no other Union units in range, so that's the end of them. Going back towards the Confederates, that same unit can fire uphill the unit just shot them. They'll be at -1 on this blast. The 4th Ohio takes 2 casualties from that blast, that volley, and they go up to 4 casualties themselves. Next up would be Confederate guns that have, artillery assault, firing down the road here at the, what is this? The 110th Pennsylvania. There would be bounce through into this other unit down here, the 7th Indiana, because it's like a bowling alley firing at these guys. This will be at effective range. They take 2 casualties. They get from that lovely thing. There's no bounce through. The 5th Virginia could fire at the 110th Pennsylvania, but they are unformed, and these guys get hard cover with that stone wall, so that'd be a -4. So we're going to go ahead and hold off doing that. And that'll end turn 5. We'll roll 1 dice now to see if Taylor's brigade from Louisiana arrives next turn. Looking for a 4, 5, or a 6. All right, so Taylor will be arriving next turn, and we'll do a random roll. We'll like 1, 2, 3 over here, 4, 5, 6 in the center. No, like 1, 2 over here, 3 and 4 in the center, and 5 and 6 on the left. We'll do that next turn. All right, we'll shoot some overhead shots, get some pictures, and boom, we're done with turn 5. We'll see you in turn 6. You hungry?
I am.
All right, there's still not a lot of movement over here, and you can erase the Taylor stuff on the board because these guys were all hesitant, just kind of wearing each other out up here. And big moves are over here. Now that the Union controls this stone fence, and they're also flanking this side, this is actually a pretty good move. We'll have to see what happens. Cavalry charge was fun. It did slow down the Stonewall brigade a little bit, and they're still in the trees. But now they've, unfortunately, have the fence. But now the Union has, the Confederates do have basically a firing solution right down this pathway here. They might have to fall back at some point. But that'll do it. We'll see you in a minute. right, it's time for turn 6. This time now with the is it Tyler? I can't remember. With Taylor coming in, Confederates will roll 4 dice for staff officer ADCs. I think or staff officer availability, and the Union. Looks like my cat got down here. Stupid thing. The Union will roll 3. So that's what we got going on. All right, cool. See you in a second. All right, the Union will end up with 2 staff officers. The Confederates will end up with 3. All right, Union has won initiative for a while, I believe, so they'll get to place their staff officers first. Union probably the same thing the Rebels are going to do in a minute. They're going to do staff officers with both of their brigades that have artillery with it. So Harrow and Sullivan, Harrow here in the center, Sullivan on the left, will both get rerolls to make sure they're available. And all 3 of their brigades are active. Stonewall Jackson's do the same thing. Each of his brigades, including Tyler coming on Taylor coming on to the board, he will also get a staff officer and make sure he shows up. All right, and the Confederates are also all active, which is fantastic. All right. I'll wait for the movement phase to roll to see which side of the battlefield, either left, right, or center, that Taylor enters on. He'll move during the rebel movement phase. But we will do initiative first, both sides, no modifiers. Rolling 2d6. Union will win any ties. Oh yes, the Union wins again. They are dominant. All right, no charges. We will do, neither side's going to charge. We'll do movement first, starting with the Union. For Union movement, the 39th Illinois over on their left sidestepped. The 13th Indiana did like a wheeling move up there. They're going to combine. They're going to concentrate fire on the Ashby's skirmishers in the woods. We're going to take a formation check for the Zouaves. They did cross over the side of the hill. They also advanced probably into gun range of the 1st Virginia. So we'll check both of those units right now. Outstanding. Both of those regiments passed their formation check. The 67th Ohio moved into closer range. The 84th Pennsylvania backed them up. These gentlemen held still on the hill. The 1st West Virginia closed into musketry range with the Virginians over there on that fence line, threatening this line's entire left side. These gentlemen reformed after being whipped. The 7th Ohio moved half move and changed into line. They're going to start moving out there to reinforce the West Virginians. And these guys did not want to stand against the concentrated artillery fire from the hill. So the 110th Pennsylvania and the 7th Indiana both step back. They'll both have to take a formation check to see if they become unformed. 110th Pennsylvania becomes unformed as they take up a new position behind the snake rail fence in the Pritchard homestead. Kind of makes sense. They probably lost some guys from that enfilading fire they got from the Rock Ridge artillery from Virginia. They hammered them with 2 casualties. All right, so that'll end Union movement. We'll go ahead and do the Confederate movement, but yes, I'm going to move them first, and we'll do the randomness of where they come in. That way I will move and not even know which way Taylor's coming in. It'll be kind of fun. With the Union falling back, the Stonewall Brigade literally moved up to the Stonewall. They're like, that's ours. I already laid out the cotton balls. These guys are going to be shooting, even though they all have fire discipline. There's no real penalty if you're planning on staying there for a while, so Doesn't matter. They all moved. The artillery stayed stationary. The 42nd Virginia stepped up to the snake rail fence to gain a benefit over those gentlemen, so they couldn't get it first. These gentlemen all stayed stationary. And Colonel Ashby's boys are going to at least stick it around for one round of fire. They are skirmishers. They'll be -2 to hit, and they're in cover. And the other guys move, so they might actually be able to survive a round of shooting, and maybe they'll do some casualties. But the second they start getting hit, they're going to mount and flee. So let's see where our boy comes in at. I'll mark, put some dice down, marking right, left, and center. And just because of terrain involved and movement restrictions, they were coming in the center. There is a little bit of play in the rules coming off center, so I put the artillery here. It's Choose Virginia artillery battery of 12-pounders, Napoleons. And then we've got the 1st Louisiana Special Battalion, the Wheats Tigers, the 6th Louisiana, the 7th and 8th Louisiana, all under the command of, sorry to move back and forth so much, General Richard Taylor. This is the vanguard of more troops to arrive to reinforce Stonewall Jackson on the Shenandoah campaign. All right, got those striped pants. They got the hammer pants on. They're looking good. All right, baby. First up, firing for the Union. We'll go from left to right. 39th Illinois. They moved. They're firing into trees against skirmishers at long range. It's just over 9 inches. And let me get my fire discipline tokens, the bag close, because I'm going to be using a lot of them. A 9 gets you a fire discipline at -5. All right, the 13th Indiana, looking for a 10, 11, or 12 to actually do something. Oh, that's a -2. They get a fire discipline as well. It's all right. It's okay. It's stupid, but it's happening. These Zouaves are the 5th Ohio. They're going to fire at the 1st West Virginia. I'm sorry, the 1st Virginia. Sorry about that, gentlemen. The Irish. These gentlemen moved, and it's at long range. We're talking -2. Definitely got a trend going here. All right, at least we got a close range shot here, but they did move. So we're talking the 67th Ohio firing at the Irish. Take that, you buggers. Oh, it's Potty's potatoes. That one's for Scott. They're going to hit him, buddy. The world's finest Irish gruel. All right, it's going to be a -2 for this because they moved, but at least it won't be long range. It doesn't matter because my dice have gone ice cold. That's 4 fire disciplines in a row. Up the 4th Ohio, they have 4 casualties. They did not move close range against the 21st Virginia. -1 because of their casualties. Oh, that's 5 in a row. See if we can get 6. These gentlemen moved. The 1st West Virginia and the Confederates were able to snatch the snake rail fence, so they've got cover on that. -3 to this shot. More fire discipline. It's insane. All right, let's see what like the whole unit can do. Let's just keep on going. 110th, they moved. And, well, they would be on form, too, but they moved. At long range, firing at a stone wall. -4 on this one. Yep, another fire discipline. Let's see if we can go for the clean sweep as we move over to the 7th Indiana. They'll be a -4 as well. Shooting at the, who are these guys? The 4th Virginia, behind a stone wall. Yay! They get no effect, but they don't get a fire discipline. So the Union gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fire disciplines. Wow. Artillery's up. They're going to fire across at the Irish at effective range. You do 2 casualties, raising them to 4 casualties. And now we get the last Union gun firing long range. It would be -2 against the Rockbridge, Virginia guns. And they do a casualty to themselves. So quite possibly the worst round of shooting in the history of miniature wargaming. About 1,700 muskets lit up, and they killed about 8 guys. And 10 of their own. So that's not good. All right, the Confederates shooting back. Colonel Ashby from the trees, long range, with his breech-loading carbines, against the 38th Illinois. No effect as they shoot at them. At least they didn't get a fire discipline. That's a big winner. 1st Virginia, they're going to fire straight ahead at the 67th Ohio. They're going to be a -1 because of their casualties. Do 1 casualty to them, raising them to 2. The 48th Virginia is going to fire into the same unit. They have no modifiers on this close range shot. All right, these guys cannot fire because they just came on the board and took a position. That was fire discipline for the 48th Virginia. They sucked it up too. It's contagious, poor shooting. 21st Virginia also at close range, firing at those gentlemen on top of the hill. Actually goes down to a 6, which does 1 casualty. I forgot they have a -1. That'll put them to 5 casualties now, the 4th Ohio. 42nd Virginia firing at the 1st West Virginia. Oh, it used to be in the same state, not anymore. This will be a -2 because they moved. They do 1 casualty to the 1st West Virginia. Now we're going to get some deadbeat volleys, I think. Well, maybe not. Over here we will. We'll do the 5th Virginia, firing it across to the 110th Pennsylvania. They're unformed. Oh, and long range. -3. Chance for half a casualty on the boys from the Keystone State. They can't convert it, and the final Virginia regiment will fire across at the other Union one across the ridge. I can't see the numbers from here. I apologize. I'll get it after this. This will be a deadbeat volley. -3 to hit. Actually, it was long range, so they're all the same on long range. -3 gets you a half casualty attempt. See if they can convert it. Snake rail fence for the win, protects the Union. Let's see how the Union snake rail fence does against artillery. They're going to fire in at the 110th Pennsylvania. No bounce through. It goes into the house. The Pritchards are blown to pieces. 2 more casualties to these guys. They go up to 4. And that was the 7th Indiana and the 4th Virginia in that firefight just before that. That'll end turn 6. Sorry about that jogging there. You see the Stonewall Brigade up against parts of Tyler's brigade over here on the stone fence. Tyler's starting to go into a holding pattern there with those gentlemen as he starts shuttling troops, especially after this other battalion here from a regiment from the 7th Ohio moves up to join the 1st West Virginia. They'll start trying to outflank these gentlemen. Also, you'll see that line's pretty solid. Also, those 2 Zouave units from Ohio are trying to get in there and outflank that part of the line. The Ashby's boys totally outgunned, but holding their own somehow. But unfortunately for the Union plan, the Louisiana Brigade just arrived, excuse me, and they're going to be marching right into that gap there, and right into that gap there, plugging it perfectly, with also extra artillery on the battlefield to support. So basically, the big problem right now is no one knows how to shoot. So all these units are going to hold still next turn, recover their unformedness, and I think you can't even, I don't know if you can reform and get your fire discipline at once. I think you could. You can't if you change formation. So that'll do it. We'll see you in turn, what are we going into? Turn 7, where dreams go to die. Pretty sure it's turn 7. If I get it wrong, I'm sorry. We'll do it again. We'll do some staff officer availability. Confederates rolling 4. Union rolling 3. Union is up with 4 ADCs. Confederates end up with 5. Lots of double 6s there. Union under Kimball, they're going to put a staff officer on each brigade for a reroll. There's not a lot of choices for one ADC or one staff officer for this game. As reserves, there's divisional morale. There's the fog of war one, the scouts, but I don't really use it. So they're going to literally waste one. Or I think the ammunition might be one too. So that's it. And we'll figure out what the Confederates are going to do. They have 5 ADCs to play with. Jackson's going to put an artillery assault on the Choose artillery battery that just showed up here under Taylor's brigade. And everything else is going to get a staff officer reroll. So Union will roll first for their brigades. They'll roll 2 dice for each. Everything is active for the Union. That's awesome. All right, Confederates doing the same thing. 2 dice for each for all 3 of their brigades. All right, they're also all active. All right, so now we're going to do initiative. Both sides rolling 2d6, no negatives. And Jackson finally wins initiative. All right, no charges from either side. So we'll go into movement. I think a lot of these guys are going to be reforming and recovering fire discipline. I do know that Taylor's brigade here from Louisiana is going to be doing some moving. All right, movement-wise, Wheat's Tigers have advanced. They're going to have to take a formation check as they step into Hog's Run. Oh, they love it and pass. Everything basically has reformed and dropped their and recovered fire discipline because of not moving. Also, the 7th and 8th Louisiana move forward into that space, moving up to support the 42nd Virginia there. These gentlemen, no movement over here. No movement, but a lot of fire discipline recovery and unformed recovery over here by the Stonewall Brigade. Same thing for Tyler's boys, recovering discipline. The 7th Ohio moved forward in a march column down the road. And, oopsies, guys. The 1st Michigan Cavalry changed formation to the line and moved half move out towards there, too, as well. And then, once again, Union recovering casualties. Recovering fire discipline and reforming. All right, so that should be it. We'll get into shooting now, and we'll start, what the heck. Let's start down here with Colonel Ashby in the woods. He is, I'll do this, I'll spare you from all the math. He's got breech loaders at long range. He is going to fire at the 39th Illinois, I think it is, right? Yes. Shoot at them, see what kind of casualties they can do. No extra CDs because they're not at effective range. It's one of our better volleys, as they do 2 casualties to those Illinois gentlemen. All right, and now we've got, I got to put some cotton balls down. We'll have Louisiana Tigers firing into the 13th Indiana. They did move, so this will be a -2 to this volley at long range. It's for chance for half a casualty on those guys. Let's go ahead and see if they can convert it. They are able to inflict 1 casualty onto the what is that? The 13th Indiana. Slide down to the Irish, and I think they have 6 casualties. They might have or 4. So they'll have a -1 to this no matter what. They'll fire straight ahead into the 67th Ohio at -1. That does 1 casualty on them. We'll slide down to the 48th Virginia, firing into the same unit from Ohio. That's our first real crushing volley of this battle, as the 48th Virginia just unloads and staggers the 67th Ohio. They'll take a elephant check, I believe -1, now that they have 7 casualties. Those gentlemen are awesome. They just laugh at that. Great job by those gentlemen. Way to hang in there. Now we've got another close range volley from the 21st Virginia. I'm pretty sure another Ohio unit getting hit right there on the hill. The 4th Ohio takes 2 more casualties. They'll take a discipline check. They're up to 7 casualties as well. That'll be a -1 to this roll. Gentlemen from the Buckeye State just showing some awesomeness. Loving it. They're just fine. All right, this artillery is going to try to fire straight ahead. They're 12-pounder Napoleons. For the clear shot, they're going to fire at that rear unit right there. It's a long-range shot at those gentlemen. Let's see how they do. They'll get 2 extra CDs for artillery assault. 8th Ohio suffers 3 casualties. They'll take a discipline check after getting rocked by a round shot there. The 4th Ohio, or so the 8th Ohio doesn't do well with that discipline check or whatever it was, and they are elephant test. They retreat back behind the heights. They are whipped. So that was a good artillery blast from the guns from what are they? Oh, hang on. From Choose Virginia Light Artillery with their 12-pound Napoleons. Next up's the 42nd Indiana, firing across the snake rail fence at their Union counterparts. They don't do too well. Get a little bit nervous. They take a fire discipline. Now we'll slide over and do a long-range shot from the 5th Virginia, firing across. They will pay a -1 penalty at long range across to that Pennsylvania regiment. These boys from the Keystone State don't appreciate that. They got a take an elephant check. They're up to 7 casualties. There'll also be a destiny roll, I believe it's called. And wow, let's see what happens. Let's start off with their elephant check. Too much for them as they fall back whipped back into the homestead here. Now we've got to do that double 6 roll. See what happens with that. Oh yeah, it's called a serendipity roll in this game. Sorry about that, everybody. Got all excited about the GDA stuff. 2d6. That normally means the brigade commander runs away. We'll just say something else happen. Basically, he gets scared and causes the entire brigade to falter. I don't want to replace Tyler. I love me some General Erastus B. Tyler. What a great name. But his brigade is now faltered, and I'll have to play with that for a little while. I still have 2 more things from the Union to shoot. I mean, the Confederates to shoot. We'll get a -2 blast from the 4th Virginia, firing across -1 at these gentlemen. They suffer a fire discipline, and now we'll get the artillery firing down the down Hog's Run, blasting these gentlemen at long range. Will be a -1 modifier for firing across the snake rail fence, which inflicts 2 casualties onto those gentlemen, and they will take an elephant check. And they become unformed after that blast from the artillery. Oh boy, that's not a bad round of shooting for the Confederates. Way to go, they really put an impact. Alright, we'll fire back now from the Union. 7th Indiana, -4 to this shot because of being unformed and firing across the Stonewall. That inflicts a 3rd casualty on the 4th Virginia, and we'll also get a serendipity roll. I think an elephant check too for that double 6. No, there won't be an elephant check because it got knocked down by 4 points, so down to an 8. Well, that volley smokes some of Garnett's executive officers, and they'll falter to the Stonewall Brigade. That'll slow them down on the Confederate left. All right, nice shooting. All right, next up, Tyler's 1st West Virginia, -1, close range, firing into the Virginians. That causes 3 casualties on the 42nd Virginia. They'll take a see the elephant check now that they got rocked. They stand tall for the Old Dominion state. Way to go. All right, moving up to over here. Unit from Ohio, 7 casualties, close range volley. It'll be -1 due to their casualty status. 1 more casualty, raising them to 6. Oh, wrong unit. These gentlemen over here. Sorry about that. The 57th Ohio is going to fire into the 1st Virginia, the Irish, with a -1 to this volley. They suffer a casualty going up to 5. Then the 5th Ohio, the Zouave unit, going to fire a long-range volley at them as well. 1.5 casualties. Let's see if they can convert. They're not able to do that. They're up to 6 casualties. And then the 13th Indiana, they're 9 inches from these gentlemen. It'd be a -3 because they're skirmishers in cover. They pick up a fire discipline, and the same volley will come from the 39th Illinois, firing to the trees, -3. They also pick up a fire discipline. I think it's time to charge those trees. Union Artillery, 1st Ohio Light Artillery, Battery L, will fire at the 1st Virginia, the Irish. This will be an effective range shot against those gentlemen from Virginia. That's 1 more casualty on them, raising them to 7 now. And the 1st Light Ohio Battery H will blast away into these Louisianas and gets bounced through at effective range on those gentlemen. These batteries are all 4-gun batteries, so that'll be 2 casualties to the 7th Louisiana and 1 to the 8th. And that'll end turn 7, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'll correct it with some graphics. Little overhead view. Got 2 faltering brigades now, both right in front of each other on the whatever side of the battlefield that is. The Confederate left. Centers, everyone's getting mashed up there pretty good. Another unit, Ohio Infantry Regiment, has retreated behind the hill. And Louisiana boys starting to move in and fill the gaps. These gentlemen are going to have to do something about just getting in there with the bayonet against these skirmishers to drive them off, because they sure as heck aren't having an impact on them. Alright, we'll see you in the next turn. You guys are awesome. Ciao. Alright, it's turn 8. I was excited that I got that right. It had been a couple days since I'd played, just kind of doing stuff at work, and I was exhausted when I got home. Plus, we're in the process of getting a new car for one of my daughters, so I've been running back and forth to the dealership where my son works. So, getting all that done, everybody knows what a blast it is buying new cars. It's like buying a house. It's like, let's sign some paperwork. Alright, so it's turn 8. We got 2 faltering brigades, one for the Confederates, one for the Union, due to serendipity rolls, which is kind of cool. And yeah, we'll check for staff officer availability for both armies. Both generals get 4 staff officers, and I think they it's very no-brainerish here, because each one will put 1 staff officer reroll on each brigade, and then the extra ADC will go for the rally, or not rally, the brigade morale, to make sure that they pass. They have to, the dedicated one, they have to offer to a faltering brigade. Sorry about that. I got to it, but it was a little bit a roundabout way I did that. It's early in the morning on Saturday, baby. All right, let's do this. Rebels will roll first for their rolls, and then we'll get down to the Union. Taylor and Burks are following orders for the first 2 Confederate brigades. The Stonewall Brigade they rally, but they rally back to hesitance. It could have been worse, and yeah, it definitely could have been worse after looking at that table. I'm not the most familiar with the tables in Pickett's charge. That's only my 2nd game, and probably by my 4th or 5th game they'll change the rules to the 2nd edition probably. All right, but they are hesitant over there on the left, which will hurt them because now they can't fire to long range, and artillery can't shoot, so we'll lose everything over here. The Union's not really in a position to open fire. They might be running away on this turn. All right, let's do the Union forces, and we'll go from there. And Taylor does the same thing as he rallies his brigade back to faltering. But Harrow and who's on the left? I always forget. Sullivan are both following orders on the Union left and center. Just got to check what whip units do. I don't think they can they can't change their status if the unit is hesitant, I believe. Let me double check. If those whip units will stay whipped now that the brigade is not following orders. They don't take any additional casualties. I think in the General des Armées too, they sometimes they stay in the retreat status, they'll keep on running and take an extra couple casualties. I think my brain's a little bit foggy this morning. All right, so now we know that. I guess it's a hesitant brigade, so each side will have a -1 to their initiative roll. Once again, I'd love to have that double 6. Would have been an extra division or C&C command. We'll get that function soon enough, probably. Union wins with a double 6. Outstanding. All right, so charges. Yes. The 35th Illinois will charge the tree line, and where the Confederate cavalry is under Ashby. They're going to do I believe they have an option to do like a skedaddle move or whatever they call it. Let's look that up. Confederate cavalry mounts up and evades as Union infantry rushes their position. They're gone. We'll see you later, baby. All right, that's the end of the charge phase. We'll go on into the movement phase now. All right, so after this is starting on the Union left. After the 39th Illinois charged the Ashby's cavalry and they fell back, these gentlemen reformed and recovered their fire discipline. The Zouaves, move forward after I break my toes to kind of consolidate their lines here. They came up with them. That's the 2 Ohio units, the 5th and the 60th, or the 5th and the 62nd. These gentlemen did a passage of lines. They stepped back. So now we got the fresh Pennsylvania unit on the front line against them. These gentlemen recovered from being whipped and marched back on the hill, probably making themselves an artillery target. 4th Ohio shifted to the left to continue the Union line down here. Union artillery slightly pivoted to do canister fire. These gentlemen were all hesitant, so they're staying there. They couldn't change formation. They're still whipped back here, and these gentlemen stepped back out of the, basically to hide from behind the barn from Union artillery. The Confederates could not move. These gentlemen moved into from Louisiana, moved into this gap here, stepping into into Hogg's Run. They held position right here. They held position, held position, held position, and then the far thing, Louisiana over here. Louisiana Tigers moved up into Hogg's Run, and then the unit behind them, the regiment behind them, shifted to the right to protect the Confederate right flank. So we've got some not discipline checks. I can't remember, maybe they are called that. I can't remember. Formation checks. First up will be the 8th Ohio as they ascended back up onto the hill, onto the heights. They'll make a discipline check to see if they maintain order. They succeed, and I think the other discipline checks are both of these units from Louisiana marching into Hogg's Run, the 7th and the 8th, as they go across that stream. 7th Louisiana, the lead unit becomes unformed in Hogg's Run. A little bit of confusion there. All right, and we'll go into firing. We'll start on the Union left, and we'll go from there. This brigade is following orders, so the 13th Indiana can fire at a 45-degree angle, and they'll clip the 1st Louisiana. Wheat's Tigers take 2 casualties from that blast. These gentlemen, the 5th Ohio, closing in on the 1st Virginia, they have no fire discipline, and they're also moved. So they'll be firing a deadbeat volley at -2. Which results in a half casualty, so let's see if they can convert that. No effect on the Irish there, but the Irish are about to get nailed again by this new fresh unit that moved up. But they'll be firing at -2 for moving. And that is the 84th Pennsylvania hitting Wheat's Tigers. And they don't hit a darn thing as they pick up a fire discipline, struggling down the hill. And even when you get like a no effect on some of these close range volleys, you think you're still picking off 1 or 2 guys or whatever, 10, you know, but usually each casualty is 50 guys blown away. So even 1 casualty is pretty significant if you think about it. If you're hanging out with 49 of your best friends and you all get blown away, you'd be like, whoa. All right, 4th Ohio, they're actually going to shoot at the 4th Virginia down the hill. They're going to let the artillery, well, they're going to try to take out the 21st Virginia and combo in that with canister fire. Union troops did move, so it's be a -2, and they have 7 casualties, so it'll be a -3. They inflict a casualty on them, take up to 7. Now we'll get canister fire. It is from rifled artillery, so I don't think it's not quite as good, but let me double check the rules here. Yeah, smooth bores will get an extra CD if they fire canister. These guys just get a close range volley. They did move, so they're -2. There is a bit of cover here for the Confederates because they're at the base of the hill, and it's if you look from the depressed guns, they still will about half the unit gets kind of shielded from the reverse slope they're hiding behind. So this will be a -3 close range artillery blast. They take 2 casualties, going up to 9. They're the most damaged unit on the table. Now we've got the 1st West Virginia continuing their struggle over the snake rail fence at the 42nd Virginia. Just a -1 for the snake rail fence. They take them up to 4 casualties. And now the Union are... Oh, so they already fired. I think the only gun we have left to shoot are these gentlemen over here. I forgot about them. They're going to do counter battery fire against the smoothbore guns at long range. And the Ohio Light Artillery inflicts a single casualty on the Choose battery down here. Alright, so that ends the Union shooting. We'll go on into Confederate shooting. We'll start on the right here with Wheat's Tigers, because you got to. They moved, and they're shooting straight ahead at those gentlemen there. So this will be a -2 close range volley. 13th Pennsylvania suffers a second casualty from the Tigers. Nothing too exciting for them. We'll slide over to the 1st Virginia, who's getting beat down. They want to step back like they saw the Union do, but there's nobody there. They're gonna... Sorry, I'm on the wrong unit. The 1st Virginia is going to fire into this Pennsylvania unit as they come up. They're not Pennsylvania, sorry, they're the 5th Ohio. Sorry, Buckeyes, my fault. Alright, and be a -1 because they have 7 casualties. It's looking insane going down the battlefield. Everyone's just getting smoked. Alright, the 5th Ohio, that's the Zouave unit, takes a casualty from the 1st Virginia. Slide over to another Virginia unit to their left. 48th Virginia, they're going to combine with the 21st Virginia and try to wipe out this, it's just the 4th Ohio. It got 7 casualties on the hill here. 4th Ohio gets hit with a pretty crushing volley from the Virginia regiment. They're up to 10 casualties now, suffering 3 more. So they just lost, technically like 150 guys just got smoked. And now they'll take a discipline check at -2 because of their casualty level. And it's called a see the elephant check in this game. I apologize. Oh, they love it, but as they love it, they look forward and see another Confederate regiment lowering their muskets on them. No! 21st Virginia unloads into the 4th Ohio. There's a -2 volley because of their casualty level, but that does 2 casualties. That pushes them to 12, which will disperse the units, sending them running from the battlefield. Oh, and that'll falter the brigade. That opens a huge gap in the Union center as this unit from Ohio, who just got whipped the turn before, rushes forward. But as they're rushing forward, they get hit with 12-pound artillery from long range. Napoleons. Let's see if they hit them again. These are the same guns that drove them from the battlefield earlier. 8th Ohio suffers another casualty as they get rocked by artillery. Sliding over to the 42nd Virginia, taking on their nemesis, the 1st West Virginia. There'll be a -1 volley at close range. But it's just, there's no close range for musketry. It's effective range, yo. They inflict a second casualty on the 1st West Virginia. And then everything over here, either those Louisiana boys can't shoot, not yet. It's not the Iron Brigade. The Virginia, oh gosh, Stonewall Brigade cannot shoot. They're out of range. And then their artillery cannot fire because they can only fire at effective range. So this side of the battlefield goes quiet as General Tyler and General Garnett try to get their act together. They're still hesitant right now, but going into turn 9, they'll be good to go. Pretty good turn, pretty good musketry. Big thing was General Harrow's brigade over here in the center, Union Center, gets faltered as that unit gets crushed by Confederate musketry in the center. They just can't take it. But the Union is pushing hard on the left. But it's a seesaw battle. It's the way you want it to be. We'll see you in turn 9. You guys are awesome. All right, time for turn 9. Staff officer availability. Both sides roll at the same time. You know what's up. Oh, that is not good. Union gets 1 staff officer, which they have to put on for the over here for this brigade that's faltered. And Stonewall Jackson gets 4. So that could be savage. The Confederates just going to use 3 for their for all 3 of their brigades and just kind of let one go. They don't have any faltering brigades this time, and nothing else to spend. So, boom, there we go. Union won initiative. So pay attention to the middle die. Let's see what happens with this one. Well, that's gonna create some massive problems for the Union in the center, as Harrow's brigade ends up with a withdrawal. So that each unit pulls back 12 inches, suffers a casualty. The 84th Pennsylvania's got 1, 67th Ohio's up to 5, and the 8th Ohio back here is up to 8. Their artillery limbered up and withdraws, and the brigade continues to falter. Oh, that's horrible. Besides that, both other brigades are following orders. Let's see how the forces of the Confederates do after that nightmare from the Union. Everything's following commands for Stonewall Jackson. We're in trouble with the Union. Oh no, the center is just gone. All right, we'll see what happens now. This could be interesting. All right, initiative-wise, the Confederates are rolling normal, and the Union will be -1. Jackson takes back the initiative. I don't think we'll have any charges either side. Movement-wise, Confederates are moving first, and then we'll do the Union. So it's definitely a busy movement phase. 6th Louisiana kind of did the right oblique, came up next to Wheat's Tigers. Directly going to engage these gentlemen who pivoted into the trees. This is going to be like basically a forest battle over here. 13th Indiana kind of stepped back so they could form a line with the 2 Ohio units here to oppose Wheat's Tigers. We get a kind of a pivoting door here from the 48th Virginia and the 1st Virginia. They kind of, now that the middle's kind of gone, they're moving into there to engage them and fire. Do have a definite break here in the line as these guys swing open. Yes, they opened up their center. They moved their cavalry in just in case they need to fill the center and in case that brigade is able to recover next turn. These gentlemen rolled to the right. The Union cavalry dismounted against that the snake rail fence to engage them. They're heavily casualtied though. I think they're at 6 now. These gentlemen were the original firefighters here. They're still going. The 2 Louisiana regiments moved up against the fence to form line with these gentlemen. This Union infantry came out of line, took up positions on the snake rail fence. The Stonewall Brigade stepped over and into Hogg's Run, and then the 2 other Union battalions back there maintained their line out of artillery fire back behind that household back there. So holy cow, a lot of crazy things going on. I think I knocked over a tree during the explanation, and we got to do some formation checks. Woo! These guys were already in the creek, so they're good. They're in the creek. They weren't in the creek. They weren't in the creek. They stepped over onto a hill. So we'll start off with this Ohio Zouave unit and see how they do. They pass like the champions they are. This Virginia unit, it's the 21st. They're going to have a -2 check as they stride up onto that hill to take the flank, they thought, of the Union before the cavalry dismounted to engage them as skirmishers. They struggle and become unformed. That Louisiana unit was already in Hogs Run, so they remained unformed because they moved. Now the 8th Louisiana, they got to take a formation check because they're in the middle of Hogs Run. They maintained formation, and then the entire Stonewall Brigade went over a stone fence and into Hogs Run. So I'll make a template for all 4 regiments. So after consulting that template, the 4th Virginia, excuse me, the 5th Virginia, the 27th Virginia are all unformed. Only the 2nd Virginia is good to go. Everybody else gets mass confusion. We'll see how that treats them. Definitely is going to affect their ability to shoot. But got ourselves a nice firefight. Alright, we're going to the shooting phase. Start off with the 6th Louisiana. They'll be firing into the trees. They moved, so a -3 to this at effective range, or whatever, non-long range. Standard volley. They pick up a fire discipline for their troubles. Louisiana Tigers, standard volley, -2 versus the 13th Indiana. Those Hoosiers get rocked for 3 casualties. They're going to take a discipline check, -1 after getting rocked by the Tigers. Wheat's just screaming at them, just get out of here, you punks. All right, here we go. Well, that's my first rout. They're treated like they're whipped. They fall back. That immediately faltered Sullivan's brigade. They're back 18 inches to there. That's going to cause some serious issues. Now a nice little hole opening up. Wheat's Tigers cheering as they fall back. Next up, I think it's the 1st, the Irish. They're going to unload into the Zouaves ahead of them from Ohio. There will be a -1 to this roll because of their casualty count. They did not move. They put 2 casualties on them, raising them to 3. And now the next Confederate Union that did wheel is going to fire at the their sister Zouave unit from Ohio. I think it's the 5th, is it? Not even close. The 62nd that's up on the hill there. And this will be a -2 on this shot, standard volley. They also pick up a fire discipline. All right, going on to the 21st Virginia. They're unformed. They moved. They have 9 casualties, and they're firing over a snake rail fence. They're actually going to shoot at the formed unit instead of paying the extra -2 for firing at the skirmishers. They're doing great. They have a fire discipline on top of them being unformed and 9 casualties, so that was a combat ineffective unit. These gentlemen are going to be a -1, -2 shot. No, they're on the Stonewall fence. They're on the snake rail fence, sorry. A -1 for them firing into the Union unit in front of them. I don't even know who that is. Oh, it's the 1st West Virginia. I knew that. There's 2 casualties, raising them to 4. Going to cause a discipline, an elephant. See the elephant check on those gentlemen at -1. They are whipped and they fall back behind the cookhouse. They unform these cavalry, dismounted cavalry, and the 7th Ohio as they fall back. So that wasn't good. And now we'll get this Louisiana unit firing at the 7th Ohio. They moved and they'll have a snake rail fence, so a -3 shot. Which causes 2 casualties to those gentlemen. Now we'll get an unformed blast from the 5th Virginia, who moved, so it doesn't matter, and firing over a snake rail fence. Another -3 shot. Another casualty, raising them to 3, and now we'll get a long-range shot from the 4th Virginia, who moved, have fire discipline, unformed. It's gonna be it's gonna be horrible, but it will be a long-range -3 shot from these gentlemen. they'll just continue to lose their fire discipline. So no negative effect. Now we'll do into artillery. You're gonna love this. Rifled artillery is a range of 72 inches. It's 70 inches to that unit right there, and we'll get bounced through. Long range blast against those two Union regiments that are struggling in that faltered brigade up on the hill. Union's like, where the heck did those rounds come from? All the way over there, baby. Bam. 7 feet away. Blam, puts a casualty on them. And now we'll get a much closer shot from these 12-pound Napoleons that that same unit would bounce through. That puts a casualty on both. Now we have the 84th Pennsylvania with 3 and the 67th Ohio with 6. Just pounding them. All right, that'll end the Confederate shooting. Go over here to the trees. Boom. These guys have the tree advantage. They have fire discipline. So this will be a deadbeat volley against the, is this a Louisiana? No, it is, the 6th Louisiana. Does cause 3 casualties to them and cause a see the elephant check on those boys. Oh, they love it. Go down to this Zouave unit from Ohio. They have 3 casualties. They have fire discipline. They're for a deadbeat volley into Wheat's Tigers. Well, they did move too, so that'll drop down to 8. Wheat's Tigers go up to 5 casualties. I forgot that these the 36th Illinois or 39th Illinois moved, so I just took off 2 from that shot, and these the 6th Louisiana just took 1 casualty. Now we've got the other the 62nd Ohio. They moved. They're going to fire at the 48th Illinois, and by Illinois I mean Virginia. Sorry about that, gentlemen. They take a casualty. Before I forget, I'm going to have the rifled artillery go ahead and blast a shot at Ashby's cavalry real quick. They're at 33 inches, which is effective range for ordnance rifles, which are rifled artillery. They're going to blast away. They knock some of those rebel horsemen out of their saddles, doing 1 casualty to those gentlemen. We'll slide over into this nightmare. We will get the Union skirmishers who dismounted. They moved. They're unformed, but that's just 1 penalty. You pick either one. It'll be -2, and they're going to extra CD because they are breech loaders firing at these gentlemen. They're already in trouble with 9 casualties. That'll break that regiment, and they will rout, faltering this brigade in the center under Burke's. Opens up a hole in the Confederate center now. Now both centers are in trouble. And now we'll go on to these gentlemen who just walked up. They're going to be a -2. Oh, yeah, that's it. As they fire into this Louisiana battalion at -3, actually, with the snake rail fence. 7th Ohio, getting nervous in there, putting up got a lot of problems closing in on them. They got several people shooting at them. And now the last will be the 7th Indiana will fire. They did not move, which is good, but they are unformed, so it doesn't really matter. They'll be -2, firing over a snake rail fence at these this guy's from Virginia that have all kinds of problems. The 4th Virginia. So that'll be a -3 to this at long range. And they've got all kinds of issues and pick up a fire discipline. I'll do a little overhead view of the battlefield. See the new lines being drawn. Almost got 2 separate battles now. There's the Confederates back over there. Union's issues in the center. They could, come back from this. Reinforce the center. They're not out of it by a long stretch. They definitely have some issues going on. I think we have 2 faltering brigades for the Union and 1 faltering brigade for the Confederates. So it's going to be an interesting turn 10. All right, see you in a second. All right, it's turn 10. Let's do staff officer availability. This could be make or break for anybody if they're I don't know. Let's see what happens. Well, that is horrifically bad. Union only has 1 ADC to work with, so I believe I'll double check, but I believe that makes they have to take like the worst, like disperse. I believe. Let me check it out. So Kimball can only save 1 of his brigades, which is no bueno. He's going to go ahead and assign it to Tyler over here. That means, unfortunately for Harrow, he's going to end up with a catawampussly all chewed up result. And let's see how bad that is. I forgot, Tyler was okay. I apologize for that. It was... this gentleman, I forgot his Sullivan, right? Yeah, it was Jeremiah Sullivan, who was over here in this brigade, who had the falter. That still doesn't help Harrow. He's going to get all chewed up. And that doesn't mean Sullivan's not out of the water. He'll still have to make a faltering brigade roll. But not so good for Harrow. He remains faltering. He loses 1 of his regiment's routes off the table. The 84th Pennsylvania's got 5 casualties. The 67th Ohio has 8. And they are at the edge. And, whoa, the center is basically gone now for the Union. And they've surrendered Pritchard's Heights, which might be of interest of the Stonewall Jackson. Speaking of Stonewall, he will get 3 ADCs. He will put... 1 on his faltering brigade with a reroll, and then he'll also, which one of these is faltering? Hang on, I forgot. It's Burke, and then he'll also do a reroll on General Taylor, and Stonewall brigade will be on its own over there with Garnett. Union will roll through. Also, the Union loses a staff officer for next turn. That stinks. They're down to 2 now. So, okay, we'll roll their 3 brigades, no re-rolls, and the dice on the far right will be, Sullivan. So Sullivan stays. I really didn't have to roll for this guy because he was automatically chewed up. Sullivan passes his orders and rallies. He's following commands this turn with his 4 regiments, and also... Tyler is also following commands over here on the Union right. All right, let's roll for the Confederates. And everything for the Confederates is following commands. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Let's roll initiative. It'll be a -1 for the Union and no negatives for the Confederates. All right, for your fathers, for your brothers, for your wives, for your children, Virginia, they win initiative. I did that's wrong. of course. I can't remember the exact way he said it in that movie. But yes, Stonewall Jackson, victorious. Let's see what they're going to do. Colonel Wheat's going to is going to point over at the 6th Louisiana. They're just going to respect him because such a bad butt. They're going to charge straight ahead into the Union in the trees and be supported by Wheat's Tigers. It wasn't really an infantry assault, but Wheat's Tigers is so close anyway. And it was point blank volley fire for these guys in the trees. All right, we got a charge going on. Got to get one of those in before the game's over. First up, 39th Illinois, is going to fire a closing volley. They have fire discipline, so this will be a deadbeat volley. They're also both in the trees, so this will be a -1. Does one casualty those gentlemen as they go rushing in. Both sides have 2 casualties. They're fighting amongst the trees. It's crazy time. All right, so both sides will roll 2d6. The Confederates will get 1 reroll. Oh, that's not good as the Union puts a double 1 on the board. 2 versus 7 right now. Wheat's going to push the envelope, and his boys are going to rush into the combat as well and re-roll the 3. Oh, Wheat's a gambler as he gets it up to 9 versus 2. Be a win by 7 for the Confederates. It's an absolute slaughtering. I think it's to give them the cold steel. The 39th will take 1d6 casualties and fall back. The Louisiana boys are going to take the ground and recover 1 casualty. Oh, yes. All right, they take the ground. They've got 1 casualty now. These gentlemen are whipped. They have 7 casualties, and they're pushed all the way back here. Oh, wow. All right, that'll end the charge phase. Now we'll get the movement phase. Confederates will move first. So lots of movement. This was the charge. It's all resolved down here on the right. The Wheat's Tigers moved forward a little bit. Just trying to threaten the left of the Zouaves. And then the rest of the Confederates have kind of lined in here. Try to outnumber these gentlemen. They kind of pivoted to refuse their flanks. Their unit that was whipped before has moved forward. Artillery's still there. Those gentlemen are way back there retreated. Center's pretty bare. We do have the 1st West Virginia got beat back. They're starting to move towards the heights, Pritchard's Heights a little bit, coming from their rear position. And then the Confederates are starting to step over the fences here and put pressure all across the line on the Union around the Pritchard's residence. So they're going to be shooting that place up like you wouldn't believe. And that's about it. Oh yeah, also the Confederate cavalry continued to move forward through Hogg's Run. Union cavalry pivoted to try to help hold off these 2 infantry regiments, but they are, woo, it's going to be close. Going on to shooting, starting with the rebels. All right, start off with the Wheat's Tigers. They moved. They have 5 casualties, so we're talking a -3 here volley. They rolled pretty good. Tell you the truth, they took part of the charge phase, so I'm not going to let them shoot. They would have done casualties to those gentlemen, but that's not happening. I forgot they were involved. The 1st Virginia, they got 7 casualties. That's a -1. They moved, so it's be a -3 firing at those Zouaves. They suffer 1 casualty. A glare is all over that. The something, 5th Ohio, I think it is. Yeah, the 5th Ohio. So then we'll move on now to the guy shooting at the 6th Ohio. Addison's here. She's going to roll some dice. These guys have got a fire discipline, so it's a deadbeat volley, and they're shooting, at -2. Those gentlemen suffer 2 casualties. Now we've got the artillery that pivoted. They're going to fire. Heck, they might as well fire on these guys here. They're already blown to pieces, so let's see if we can finish them off some more. Long range shot, -2 for rotating. Well, you can tell Addison's throwing the dice because it's dramatically improved. I don't think there's destiny rolls for artillery, if I remember correctly. That's a 12 on a long range volley, but it goes down to a 10, so there's 2 casualties plus an elephant check. They'll be up to 9. Guys are whipped, and they're got 9 casualties. Be a -2 to this bad boy. All right, they become unformed. Now they're whipped and unformed. I don't know if you can even do that, but that's where we're at right now. Guns are going to fire long range across the hill at those gentlemen there. They did not rotate. They just kind of walked into their field of fire. They will... No, they're ahead of the tree, so just long range. First West Virginia goes up to 5 casualties now. Now we'll move on to the 42nd Virginia, who moved firing into Tyler's 1st Cavalry, or 1st Michigan, from under Tyler's brigade. They pick up a fire discipline for their troubles. Ooh, I don't know what brigade this is. They've lost their tag. Oh, there they are. They moved. They're still unformed. Sorry, this is the 7th Louisiana firing into the 7th Ohio. So this will be a -2. Half the, actually a -3, because half the regiment is behind a snake rail fence. Now they're unformed and they have fire discipline. And now the 5th Virginia, who's up against the fence better than these gentlemen, they've got a -2 volley into these gentlemen from the 7th Ohio. 7th Ohio suffers 1 casualty, and now at close range we've got the 4th Virginia, who held their position behind this fence, firing into the 7th Indiana, just straight up. 7th Indiana suffers 2 casualties, take a -1 elephant check due to casualties. Oh no, those guys lose their nerve and retreat whipped. They unform the it was 110th Pennsylvania on their way through. That unit's seen a lot of battle. So things are going wrong at the Pritchard house now. But that ends Confederate fire. We'll start with these guys. They're going to fire a long-range volley, -1 against them. Actually, -3 because they're unformed. They also pick up a fire discipline for their troubles. The 7th Ohio, they're going to fire straight ahead into these guys. They don't get any cover because there's like no fence line. So that's the 7th Louisiana. They'll take a -1 shot of this because of casualties. Those guys go up to 4 casualties, and they'll take a -1 check on an elephant roll, which they barely pass. Now we'll get a volley from these skirmishers, -2 against the 42nd Virginia. I'm trying to read that from a long way away. And yeah, but they'll get an extra die because, no, it's actually outside of short range for a carbine. That has no effect at all. Now we'll get the 67th Ohio. They're going to fire into the 48th Virginia. Just shot at them. They move, so it's supposed to be a -2. It does 1 casualty on them. And now the 5th Ohio is fire into the Wheats Tigers, trying to put them out of their misery. And they retain their fire discipline on that horrible shooting with no effect on the Wheats Tigers. Union artillery going to fire a blast. I think it's at effective range versus Chew's battery up there on the hill. Ends up being at long range, -2 for firing a deployed battery. Results a half casualty, so see if he can convert. He cannot. Oh well, that's the end of that one. Okay, turn 10. Not as brutal as I thought it was. Be right back with another turn, turn 11. The Confederates won initiative last turn, so let's see if I can remember that. right, turn 11. Staff officer availability. Confederates won initiative last turn. Let's see what we got for both sides. The Union is down to 2 staff officers available. Confederates end up with 3 staff officer available. The Union has 2. All right. Oh, they've 1. Sorry, excuse me. Confederates are going to put 1 on every single one of their regiments. Or sorry, not regiments. Brigades. All 3 brigades get 1 staff officer. The Union is just going to put 1 on Mr. Trouble Pants back here, General Harrow. Try to make sure we can get these guys back into the fight. We'll roll Stonewall Jackson's 3 brigades first. All 3 brigades are faltering. Oh, they only have 1. I forgot. They've got he's still faltered. So they've got to put their 1 on him. So everyone's rolling 1 dice. So, oh, that stinks. Well, that wasn't good. Harrow's brigade, along with his 2 remaining regiments, march off the battlefield, and they're done. They already lost the staff officer. They're still sitting at 2, but those gentlemen are gone, and that's 33% of the Union forces are now off the table. All right, let's see how the Confederates do. All right, did I roll them already? Hang on. Sorry, I had a senior moment there. Yeah, the Thomas Jackson's Confederate forces are all active. All 3 of his brigades are active. Oh boy. So that'll be a -1 for the Union and a -0 for the rebels for initiative. Jackson retains the initiative. No charges this turn by anybody. We got any movement? I think we're going to do a lot of reordering this turn. Confederates moving first. Most troops did not move. I got to move that West Virginia unit. They're going to move. These guys, the 8th Louisiana went to the right a little bit. What's his name's cavalry? Turner Ashby's cavalry dashed forward. The 6th Louisiana moved forward. Most of these guys reformed and regained fire discipline. They're going to try to volley the heck out of each other this turn. I'll move the 1st West Virginia forward, and probably the 7th Indiana as well. Do that real quick. All right, that's been done. Nothing too horrific. This should be some good volleying. Let's see, no charges. We just did the movement already. Now we'll start down here with these gentlemen that did move, so there'll be a -2. Union artillery also rotated to fire canister at these gentlemen as well. So there we go. Well, we'll start off with the 6th Louisiana firing at a -2 against the 39th Illinois. That does 1 casualty to them, raising them to 10. Alright, Wheat's Tigers unloading into this Zouave unit. Will be a -1 to this because of Wheat's Tigers casualties. It raises the 5th Ohio to 6 casualties now. These gentlemen will fire at the same unit. That's the 1st Virginia, the Irish, unloading into them. No negative, well, they will have a negative modifier for being 7 casualties. -1 to this. That'll raise the 5th Ohio to 8 casualties, and they'll have to take a -2 See the Elephant check. Route, they unformed the unit that was behind them, and they're way back there now. Not good, and falters the brigade too. I forgot about that. Now we'll get the 48th Virginia with no modifiers firing into these gentlemen. There's the falter monitor, falter token on Sullivan. Oh, not again! All right, here comes that blast from those gentlemen to these guys. They take 2 casualties, and I'll take a See the Elephant check at a -1. They also fall back whipped. Now we've got the Confederate artillery. The Union regiment sitting out in the open at long range. They're going to blast them. They get hammered, go up to 7 casualties. They'll take a -1 discipline check. They were already unformed, so they're sitting there with 7 casualties. We go over to the other side of the battlefield. Now we'll get the 42nd Virginia firing into that skirmishers at -2. They go up to 8 casualties. Not good. 7th Louisiana is going to fire straight ahead into those Union behind the fence. That'll be a -2 to their casualties and the snake rail fence. They're up to 6 casualties. They got a -1 elephant check before they get hammered again. Another volley from those boys. There's some intestinal fortitude on the front porch of the Pritchard homestead. They do well. All right, now they get blasted from these gentlemen at a straight up volley from the Stonewall Brigade. No modifier. 5th Virginia just wears them out. 3 casualties. They're up to 9 casualties now. 7th Ohio, -2. See the elephant check as they get hammered from 2 different directions. They break and run and unform the 1st Michigan dismounted cavalry. And then the final volley for the Confederates will be the 4th Virginia, just inside of short range, no modifier, firing into these guys with 7 casualties. 110th Pennsylvania takes 2 casualties. They're up to 9. They take a -2. See the elephant check. They will fall back whipped, unform, everything else, and that's too many bad things have happened for Kimball. He sees the writing on the wall. He's got cavalry riding straight at his position. I think that artillery right there is about to fire on the West Virginians that are probably his only defense. They're barely hanging on by a thread, and the rest of his troops are falling back in disarray, and he has no center. So Kimball will sound retreat. This battle report was getting long anyway, and but wow, it's a little bit different. I look forward to the changes. The initiative with the -1 per brigade might work on games where you have like 7 or 8 brigades, but for smaller games, not really much. A negligible impact from having several of your units or brigades faltering or hesitant, so you can still win initiative quite easily with a roll of a die. And but phenomenal. It's just kind of what happened for GDA 1 going to GDA 2, so I look forward to these getting that little upgrade. But great rule set, phenomenal. Thank you very much, David and Christopher Brown, for making this, and I'll be playing much more of this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. All right, I don't want to ramble on too long because this game is already pretty huge. Thanks for making it to this part if you made it this far, and we'll be back shortly with the second battle in the Alpha Strike campaign for Battletech. I'm also painting 3 Russian infantry battalions to get my total up to 8, so I'll have 2 brigades of Russians. And I think Scott and I will be doing an update on where we are. He's mulling over ideas on the 1813 campaign that we've been working on. So you guys are great. We'll talk to you soon, and have a fantastic week. You're all awesome. See you guys. Bye.